I hate the Thrall. Or so I thought. And it was never about the damage or it being a different fight, a hard fight, as some people like to think. I don't think the fight is hard at all. I got like good score with my Lycaon team on the second try. And I even did some challenge runs, which you're going to watch through the video, alright? But I had a lot of issues with some of the gameplay aspects of the fight. However, the more I replayed it, the more I talked with the community, other content creators, players that like to grind scores on that LDShop, the more I realized that I actually don't have an issue with the Thrall itself. I have an issue with the context in which the Thrall fight exists right now. And this being Deadly Assault and Season 2, which even made me go on Twitter and made the following post. When I'm the worst boss competition and I'm ZZZ Season 2, and it just posted a screenshot of the Thrall. People even pointed out saying that, oh, this is just a skill issue, this is a really fun boss, I don't know, just learn the boss. It was never about these things, but something else that is part of the gameplay mechanics around this fight. So in today's video, I want to go in defense of the Thrall. Even though I made this post before, I want to go over this video and talk a little bit about what makes the Thrall an actually good fight, why I still hate it despite being a good fight, and leave a little bit of extra glaze at the end because there's some cool, interesting things for this fight. Listen, we both know how important it is when it comes to saving money on these gacha games, and that's where LDShop comes in. LDShop.gg is a top-up platform that offers massive discounts and good prices for a lot of different games, including Zone Zero. All you need is your server and the UID, and you're good to go. You just select what you want to buy, you up everything here, you press top up, and then you're going to get a confirmation detail page. Make sure everything here is correct because, of course, you want to get your polychromes and your internet membership, right? You just wait a little bit and your polychromes are going to be delivered to your account that fast. Look at this. And you know there's double top-up bonuses that you get on the first time you buy one of those monochrome packs. LDShop got you covered because they can trigger the double top bonus for you. And the best part is that whenever you spend $80 in a single month, you get a coupon that allows you to get one of those monthly memberships for free, even in an internet membership, as you can see right here. Register your account using my link down in the description and you get a 15 and a 5% coupon that allows you to save up to $50. So stop wasting time and start saving money using LDShop. Thanks LDShop for sponsoring this video. Alright, so let's start with the good things about the Thrall. So the very first thing that I want to talk about is that Thrall is a really cinematic fight. The moment that you start the fight, Thrall entrance on the arena, all the blades falling down on you, huge blade falling down, and then a heavy attack towards you that you can parry, you get an impair right here. You see, it just looks amazing. Such a pretty cool entrance for a boss. You actually feel that you're fighting a freaking boss, you see? It's really good, okay? I really enjoy it. And Thrall is a really mobile enemy. Keeps moving around, and sometimes I even miss some assist follow-ups because of how much it decides to dash back and I miss my assist follow-up, losing days, damage, and everything. But I love this feeling that it's actually not a punching bag. Compare this to Unknown Corruption Complex or Typhoon Destroyer, for example. These are enemies that are always there on your face saying, hey, please hit me, and I don't like this feeling. Thrall, at the very least, is super mobile and doesn't give you this feeling unless we are in the stun window, which, well, the stun window is supposed to be the moment where the enemy becomes a punching bag. It's stunned, they can't do anything, you see? Also, another thing that I really like is how consistent this fight is, because we compare to Priest or Defiler or even Wandering Hunter to some extent, we have a lot of RNG in terms of the attacks that the enemy are going to use, that is going to give you the defense assist that you need in order to apply daze for enemies. This is especially true for Priest if you are someone that is looking to get 2 stuns before Miasma phase, because if you want to go for heals, especially at lower mindscapes, you need to have 2 stuns before the Miasma shield happens. You need to have really good RNG because you want a lot of defensive assists on them. You see? So if you don't get this defensive assist, well, goodbye to stun windows. So this reliance on RNG is really bad on Priest. On Defiler, you also need to have auto defense assist if you want to get the crit damage boost. If you miss this defensive assist, if Defiler decides to not do the spinning move, which gives you free defensive assists, then you're pretty much going to lose all of your assist points, and good luck trying to stack this all the way to the maximum possible crit damage. So all of these fights, they have some reliance on RNG. On the Thrall, I don't feel this at all. There's so many windows that you can use your defense assist to apply daze to it. All of the scripted mechanics all the scripted fights, going into the miasma shield, removing the miasma shield after the finishing attack, everything feels so scripted that is, at the end it feels really consistent. And on top of this, the stall phase doesn't even feel empty such as Miasmic Fiend. Miasmic Fiend for me is one of the worst possible stall phases in the game, because it just jumps away, it starts throwing a bunch of daggers at you, and after this, she jumps at the middle of the arena and starts charging a screen that you need to run away. It feels so bad, it's so boring just running around the map. So, stall phases on the Thrall actually feel pretty nice because they have a lot of stuff going on your screen. Soukaku and the Thrall, they're going to start attacking you in a really aggressive pattern. There's a lot of windows for you to do defensive assist, so they also add a lot of interaction on these stall phases. You see, you can keep using defensive assist in order to make sure that you're going to interact with it. Soukaku, when it's on the field instead of the Thrall, you're also going to be attacking Soukaku. Even though you cannot stun, you cannot apply anomalies, you're still attacking someone. And on top of this, you're still getting your points from hitting Soukaku instead of the Thrall. So at the end, there is a lot of interaction on this fight. Now, as I said, there's also some bad things about the fight, and this is exactly what I want to talk about. As I said, this lot of interaction is also an issue when you think about the context where we are right now. And so far in Season 2, we had 5 bosses. And we have the Priest, we had Fiend, Defiler, Wandering Hunter, and now we have the Thrall. The issue here is that sadly, 3, maybe 4, if we include the Wandering Hunter, but 3 of these bosses, they rely on defensive assists. They give you points, they give you rewards for performing defensive assists. You see Priest, flurry attack, you spam your defensive assist, you get your performance points, you also apply a lot of days, you get your decibels, sometimes you even impair Priest, depending on the attack sequence that they are using. Defiler, same situation. The moment that she starts flying around the map and you need to defensive assist 3 attacks in order to impair her, you're using your defense assist. She's going to the Miasmic Shield, she's going to teleport away, you need to break a rock, she goes back into the arena, bunch of attacks, you need to defense assist again. She goes into the flying mode again, summons soldiers towards you, defensive assist again. Wandering Hunter, you kinda need defensive assist, or you can just use dodge counters if you want to stack all of the buff on top of Wandering Hunter. And then we have the Thrall. Once again, same situation. It's more of the same. And you see, when you're doing the same thing over and over, eventually it gets stale, it gets boring. And I can't understand why they decided to do this on the Thrall after such a good mechanic they decided to go for Wandering Hunter. Wandering Hunter breaks the pace of the fight, yes. Wandering Hunter goes away from being a punching bag that is just looking at you into explore the map moment. You need to look around the map, you find the right target, and boom, there you go. You got your performance points, you get a defense assist, Miasmic Shield starts to go down, and then you get your damage, your energy back from removing the Miasmic Shield. You see? So Wandering Hunter, even though it feels so different from actually fighting the enemy, it actually feels a good, refreshing change of pace. I really enjoy Wandering Hunter. And on top of this, the stall phases are a huge issue for Deadly Assault. This is the second context that really matters here, that is Deadly Assault. Deadly Assault is basically a DPS check. It's end-game content that is meant to just test how much damage you can deal to the enemy in 3 minutes. You might think about it and say, oh, but the matchups matter, the buffs matter, the boss mechanic also matters. Yes, they all matter because they are going to increase your damage. You're playing around these to increase your damage. So at the end, it is a DPS check, and it's checking how much damage you can do on those 3 minutes. However, if you have stall phases, you're basically shortening how much you can interact with the enemy in terms of dealing damage to them. Alright, so let's say that you have 3 minutes, alright, and you want to go for, I don't know, a kill. Then you need to make sure that on these 3 minutes, you need to remove all of the enemy health. However, let's make it shorter. Let's say that now you only have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to hit the enemy. Now you need to do the same amount of HP on 2 minutes 30 seconds. And this basically means that you need to increase your DPS. Essentially, this has a similar effect as HP inflation, because the HP inflation is also increasing the HP, so it increases how much DPS you need to deal to enemies. The thing is that the stall phases are always going to stay the same, they are not going to increase, but the HP, it is always going to increase, because the power level of units always increase, the players get better gears, the player get access to better disc sets, everything in the game keeps progressing, so they need to, sell their stuff. And basically this means that the HP is always going to be increasing. pair this with stall phases and you have a lot of HP to remove in a even lower amount of time. So this is pretty bad, and the reason why I don't like heavily scripted stall phases is because it's basically forcing you to go over all of it. Wandering Hunter, once again, is a really good example, because if you get a little bit of good RNG or just good hand-eye coordination, then you basically can just find the right illusion as fast as possible, you remove it, and goodbye, it's over. The stall phase is over. This is not like the Thrall, this is not like Miasmic Fiend, for example, where it's always the same duration. Consistency is cool, because if it's always the same duration, it also means that you're not extending it even further. But at the same time, removing the control from the player of how long this stall phase actually is, it definitely feels bad, because there's nothing the player can do in order to shorten this, and they always need to play on a shorter time window than Deadly Assault is supposed to be. This is why I don't like stall phases in general, and Thrall is just another stall phase on the game. But that's all. If you think about it, none of these issues are actually issues with the Thrall. These are issues with the context in which the Thrall fight exists, which is Deadly Assault and Season 2. If the Thrall fight was available in a content that is not Deadly Assault, a DPS check, I wouldn't feel bad about it. But the fact that it's a Deadly Assault thing and a DPS check, then stall phases is always going to be something that I'm really going to despise. And on top of this, cinematic fights feel cool for the first time that you're doing. Once you start doing over and over, it starts becoming boring. It loses the shiny effect of all the visual effects. But I will not consider this an issue, because I feel that I am a small part of the community that actually grinds higher scores on Deadly Assault. This is a me issue right now. I feel that slowing down and only doing this fight once every 2 weeks or so, it makes it feel much more entertaining, much more fun and visually appealing. It feels nice. You never know when you're going to get this fight again. Take a look at Bringer, for example. Bringer is returning on the next rotation, but it's been a long time since Bringer was available on Deadly Assault. Now imagine the Thrall could disappear on 2.5 and we are only getting to see him again on 3.1 or something. Who knows? You see, so slowing down a little bit and just enjoying the fight once every 2 weeks, just playing Deadly Assault for your clear, can be much more enjoyable than just watching the same movie 30 times a day or 50 times a day. Doesn't matter how long you are spending your time trying to grind higher scores. But this is not the reality of most players. So when I was complaining about the fact that I hate the fight, I was complaining from my point of view as someone that likes to grind Deadly Assault scores. But I mentioned before that I was going to do a small glaze at the end for Thrall in Season 2 as well. And this comes from my perspective once again, as someone that actually likes to grind better scores on Deadly Assault. For the Season 2 bosses, I feel that one of the best things that they can do is actually giving the players easier time reaching out the 5,000, the max performance points. Because I was trying to get the maximum scores on Marionette, which is like a really old boss, Season 1 boss. I had to reset the fight for 2 hours just to get the 5,000 performance points. Because every single time I was missing some clones, or sometimes I was getting the clones but missing the damage because I was just waiting for Marionette to actually summon clones. So getting the right RNG just for you to get the maximum performance point feels so bad. And this is something that all the Season 2 bosses, they actually do really nicely, because all of these performance points, they are tied to their stall phases. So they're stalling you, but they're giving you your 5,000 performance points for free. But sometimes, this 5,000 performance points doesn't feel rewarding at all. Take a look at, for example, on Fiend. Once again, I'm going to use this as an example. I feel that, yes, you get your 5,000 performance points, but the whole gameplay mechanic, it doesn't feel rewarding. The Thrall is an exception. I feel that the Thrall so far is one of the best ones when it comes to rewarding the player for going through this stall phase. Because as soon as you remove Miasma, you get another stun window, and all of the stun windows against the Thrall, they are massive. The Thrall has a base stun damage multiplier of 200%, and it increases even further if you're playing around this mechanic, if you're using a stunner, if you're using the current available buff as well. So all of these things stacking together, it gives some massive stun damage multipliers. That just means that you're dealing huge bursts of damage after going through the stall phase. you see? So at the end, I feel that the Thrall is one of the best examples when it comes to rewarding the player from going through the stall phases. If the Filer has a similar thing, it gives you 25% days after you go through the stall phase. You see, so basically you play the mechanic, you get a 25% days on the Filer, and this basically means a free stun. But getting the stun right there, especially when the stun multiplier is so small, it doesn't feel rewarding. But on Thrall, it's actually really rewarding. You see the damage going up, you see the numbers popping up on your screen, and you feel the score going up. So this is like my final Glaze, these 2 points, and at the end, I feel that I genuinely enjoy this fight. I'm slowing down on my grinds on ZZZ and trying to play the game more casually in order to enjoy it more often, because I feel that just playing the same thing over and over, and especially like just looking at the wrong side, the bad side of things, is not something really cool, which is why I decided to make this video to defend a little bit of the Thrall and why I genuinely like this fight, although I still have some issues in the context in which the fight exists in the first place. I kinda hope that in the future they can start making some new interactions when it comes to how you can approach the enemy or the stall phases and give more control to the players of how long these stall phases can be. Think about it like Jester on Shiyu, for example. If you play around the mechanic properly, you parry the right dagger, then you basically cut down a lot of the miasmic shield. If you can time your shocks against Jester, you also get a lot of staggers, and this basically allows you to skip the miasma shield as well. So, giving the player the option to play around these things, it feels so much better than just have a really scripted fight. Gives more control to the player, gives more power to the player for them to express their skill in the game. And this is something that I really hope in the future they can start doing, giving more control, more freedom to the player of how long these things can be, and also keep the feeling of the stall phase being rewarding. As I said before, Wandering Hunter is a really good example of a really interesting way to deal with the stall phase, which is like Wandering Hunter is hidden on the map, and you need to find it. Alright, you found it, then Wandering Hunter is going to back to you, you can start interacting with the shield once again. This is pretty cool, but you don't get the reward feeling from it. So I feel that they can mix and match a lot of different things, they can come up with new creative ways to play around mechanics and interactions with the enemy instead of just repeating the defensive assist over and over. I was talking with some friends in a voice call on Discord, and the reruns, the one that had really bad luck on the dialing pulls on my previous video for example, he said to me that he really likes UCC with the directional mechanic, because we have the lags around it, and you basically need to break the lags, go around the UCC in order to make sure that you're breaking the lags, you get performance points from it, and you also get some extra increased damage out of it. I don't like the fact that UCC is basically a punching bag, but I can agree, this kind of mechanic feels interesting. It adds a lot to the game. So I hope that in the future they can explore more things like this, they can be really experimental with these things, instead of relying on the same thing once again, more defensive assists. Anyway, that's it for today's video. I just want to talk a little bit about the Thrall, my issues with it, but also my appreciation for it. Feel free to leave it in the comments down below your opinion on the Thrall, maybe some suggestions as well about how they can approach stall phases in the future. Thank you so much for watching this video, have a good day, good night, wherever you are, and I see you next time.